Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you're well. Today it is Monday, the public holiday here in Canberra, and I'm having a very productive day, even though I slept in until 9:30. I've decided it's going to be productive. I'm going to film this Q&A. I asked you guys to send through a whole heap of just general Q&A questions for me, and then today I'm also filming like a full day of eating, day in the life kind of thing, and I'm about to go and have the most ridiculous brunch. So I'm going to edit this video and this will be up first, but make sure that you subscribe to my channel and you can see how I'm going to fit in this ridiculous waffle mess into my food for the day amongst everything else. So thank you so much guys for sending through questions. I got like a decent amount, so I thought I might just start rolling on through them. Okay, so what are your 3 hard and fast rules about the gym? This can be whatever you interpret it as. Okay, so first one, 100% is pack up your shit. If you use some weights, if you use a piece of equipment, whatever, please pack it up. So I know a girl, and she's gonna know when she watches this video that I'm talking about her, that she went to a commercial gym where like no one would pack up after themselves, and then so she felt that because no one else was doing it, she wouldn't. And I'm just like, no, dude, don't conform to everyone else. You be that good person that packs up after yourself, because I'm sure you appreciate when you rock up to a weight that it's all unstacked and ready for you to load whatever weight's on. So 100% pack up after yourself in the gym, folks. It's just considerate. Second hard and fast rule would be just general hygiene. Please shower once or twice a day and wash your clothes. Currently there's this guy in the gym that it's actually quite difficult when he walks past me, like while I'm in the middle of the set, because his body odor is like really, really bad, that it like properly distracts me from my workout, and I don't know what to do. Like, this has been going on for months. Guys, please leave a comment below if you know how I can broach this without being insensitive. I'm thinking about maybe like writing a note and like leaving it in his bag, just being like, can you please shower and wash your clothes? But I don't know, but his body odor is really bad. So if you have any suggestions on how I can say something without saying it to his face, or maybe I should have said it to his face, no, I don't want to do that. Please leave a comment below. And then I would say my third thing about the gym is please don't be afraid to ask for help, specifically trainers. Go up to them. They are paid to help you and are there to make sure that you do things safely and with correct form. You don't necessarily have to pay. I'm sorry, this bit of light is like super annoying. Ugh. You don't have to pay for a full-on session. I can understand going into the gym and using the weights and the machines can be intimidating, but like, ask someone for help, seriously. And once you ask someone to help and maybe get over that little bit of like awkwardness or uncertainty and you know how to do the exercise properly, you'll be able to go in and do it more confidently the next time. Next question is your favorite people to follow on social media and YouTube. So I feel like this question gets asked and people often recommend like really big kind of accounts, people that have like thousands of followers, hundreds of thousands of followers. I'm not going to like speak them all to you now. I'll save some time and I'm going to link them all in the description box below, but all of the people that I'm going to put below that I recommend to follow all have less than 10,000 followers, and I think that's really cool that they're doing their thing and they're not like a big superstar or whatever in the Instagram world. Personally, I like following quite normal people that fit the fitness and the macros and that kind of thing into their everyday life. In terms of YouTube, so I have a YouTube channel, but I actually don't watch very much YouTube, if at all, really. I find that can be a massive time suck. That being said, there is one new YouTube account that I recommend that I know that I will religiously watch, because there's no other YouTube channels that I religiously watch, and that is Madeline Giorgetta. I probably said that wrong. Sister Liz F. She's fucking hilarious. Her sister is like an Insta star and she just kind of parodies it, but she's also super intelligent and knowledgeable and is really just a breath of fresh air. So I'll link her in the description box below, but yeah, head down there to check out people I recommend. Okay, are you self-taught on all of the terminology surrounding exercise or weights? Yes, pretty much all self-taught. I learnt through having coaches program for me. So when I first started with Nick Cheadle and he was doing programs for me, there were a lot of things that I was like, what is this? But I just Google it. Just Google, guys. Just Google away. And so I would just Google what it meant, how to perform the exercises. And there was quite a few times that I would come across a certain exercise in my program. I was just like on YouTube being like, how to dumbbell fly kind of thing, and looking that up. So yeah, very much just kind of self-taught from hearing people around the gym, from having various trainers in the gym, and from having program online, and also Googling my own things and trying to learn it all myself. I've been meaning to ask how or what injured your knee? I'll be in the same boat. We'll be having surgery to repair a torn ACL and meniscus. So ACL, for those that don't know, is your anterior cruciate ligament. It's a ligament in your knee. It's the one that most people rupture and need reconstructed. This is getting super annoying. I'm just gonna move. Okay, so I'm gonna try and make this as concise as I can. I played basically like every sport under the sun during my childhood and teenage years. At 16 years old, I was playing footy and I ruptured my ACL in my knee. Had it reconstructed, went back to playing footy and soccer, and then at 20 years old, I started feeling some pain in my knee again and tried to rehab it, had a few scans, nothing was all that conclusive. So we went back to the surgeon and he said, okay, yep, let's go in for some surgery, let's have a look around. Went in for the operation, woke up and both of my knees were bandaged, which is a little bit scary. I'm like, it's just my left knee. Why is this one bandaged? It turned out that I had another reconstruction at 20 years old and they used my right leg for the hamstring graft to reconstruct my left knee. So they operated on both of my knees. But anyway, so that was at 20 years old. Basically, the reason that I needed the second surgery is because the first surgery hadn't like fixed properly. You put a new ligament into the bones and it's meant to like graft there and become permanent. Mine had never kind of become permanent in the bones, and so it slowly kind of worn away, and my knee had slowly become more and more unstable as I'd been playing sport and had worn away some of the articular cartilage between the surface of my knees. In 2016, I re-injured my knee and went back to the surgeon and they were like, it's just your cartilage damage, you keep doing it to yourself, you really need to stop doing this. And I was like, okay, so from now on it's pretty much like no team sports, no running, jumping, changing direction, that kind of thing. So yeah, I'm pretty much confined to walking and lifting weights and rowing and cycling and swimming, which is a lot of things that I am very grateful for the rest of my life. So that is the history of my knee. So that leads nicely into the next question, which is, I'd be interested in tips or things you do or don't do to help deal with body image, specifically when there are changes in body image due to training style or goals, or changes due to injury. So when I re-injured my knee in 2016, I couldn't use like my legs in the gym essentially. So for 6 or 7 months, I was doing upper body only and a spin class. Lunges, squats, deadlifts were all out. They caused me too much pain. So yeah, 4 days a week I did upper body and then I did a spin class a week. And it was hard to begin with, but you just kind of get used to it. So I would say, wherever possible, try and modify, if you are injured, try and modify your program so there is still something that you can do. Obviously do this in conjunction with a physical therapist, a physiotherapist, a trainer, that kind of thing, to make sure that you're working within your means. But I would definitely still encourage trying to do some form of exercise just to retain your muscle mass, and then also just kind of for your mental health, so that you're doing something and you're getting those endorphins going. I find that in itself, finding something that you can do to remain active is really good for your frame of mind in terms of your body image. In terms of changes in body image due to training style or goals, that I can definitely relate to. As you guys know, I've been through 2 like diets now, and you end up quite lean at the end, and then like being that lean isn't sustainable just kind of for life, and I have put weight back on during that process. And what has helped in going through that process of putting weight back on, of course you're putting on muscle, you're getting a lot stronger, but you are also putting on some fat as well, is really try and focus on performance goals. So for me, I'm doing this powerlifting competition, which is going to be 4 weeks from now. That is a specific measure of strength. I am working towards becoming strong, and that is nothing to do really with my body image. For you, it might be something completely different. It might be like, I want to be able to do a pull-up. I want to be able to do 10 push-ups on my toes. I want to be able to run 5 kilometers in X amount of time. Something like that. I would really try and focus on performance goals. Another thing is wear clothes that make you feel good about yourself. Sometimes if your body is changing, you might not fit into clothes that you used to. So make sure that I would still try and update your wardrobe, really. Like, a lot of people don't want to buy new clothes, but I think you should buy new clothes to make sure that you're feeling good about yourself and you're feeling like, yes, I'm feeling great in this outfit kind of thing. Something that I've come across recently is high-waisted leggings. Keeping this lower belly in, it's like all in there and tucked up, and I'm like, oh, this is great. And I much prefer wearing these to just like normal rise leggings, because then, you know, you start to have some like spill out and that kind of thing, all relative for every individual. So yeah, something like that, that's been great for me, wearing some high-waisted leggings. Such a simple little change, but allows me to feel good about myself. And finally, I would just say that if this is something that you are really struggling with, like long-term, your body image, your self-esteem, your self-confidence, I would really recommend going and seeing a counselor or a psychologist, maybe opening up to a friend or family member, seeing if there's someone that they know or can recommend, because if you're constantly feeling down about your body and yourself, there's probably some other issues that need to be addressed, and I really suggest you kind of confront that head on and address them. As scary as that is, it will be better for you in the long term. Next question, does weight training or HIIT, high intensity interval training, burn more calories post-workout? So this is getting my year 11 and 12 anatomy and physiology courses back in my brain. So the kind of calories that you burn post-workout is called excess post-exercise oxygen consumption, or EPOC or EPOC or whatever you want to call it. And this is just where your oxygen consumption is elevated post-workout as you return your body to a resting state. You're replenishing your stores of glycogen, of ATP, and you're going through that kind of muscle repair process. So this person is asking, during that process you are burning calories. Are you burning more after you do a weight training session or a HIIT session? So I did a bit of research on this. Unfortunately, my access to journal articles is limited. I am going to link some of those resources below if you want to read up a little bit more about EPOC post-exercise for both cardio, high-intensity training, and weight training. From what I could see, it was a little bit more on the weight training side. However, I just kind of want you to take this kind of all in perspective. The amount of calories that you are burning post-workout of like weight training versus HIIT training, the difference is going to be very, very minor, and it is extremely minor in the overall scale of how many calories you're actually burning in a day. If you think about it, the majority of calories that we burn is when we're resting. It's our basal metabolic rate. It's the amount of calories that we burn just to keep ourselves alive, to kind of keep breathing, keep our heart beating, keep our gut going, keep on all of our organs functioning, is how we burn the majority of our calories. Then you've got NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which is just kind of like your daily activities where you're just going around, walking around, doing your thing. That burns calories. You burn calories digesting food. So the more food you eat, the more calories you burn, just so you know, guys. And then you also burn calories through exercise. But the amount of calories that you burn through exercise is definitely going to be the majority of it all. The amount of calories that you're burning post-workout it kind of is nothing in comparison to the amount you burn when you're exercising, which is nothing in compared to the total amount of calories you're burning through everything that you're doing throughout your day. So I would say, don't be concerned about how many calories you're burning post-workout. Weight training versus HIIT training, it's like really too minuscule to really worry about. Do what you enjoy to do. Weight training is great, HIIT training is great. Do a combination of both if you want, but don't worry about how many calories you're burning post-workout. Next question is also along the cardio lines. Is there a benefit in long distance runs, for example 5 kilometers, or are you better off doing HIIT cardio every time? I asked for a little bit more context for this question in terms of what she means in terms of benefit, and they said that their boyfriend has been saying that there's no point doing steady state cardio, and long term for fat loss you should be doing HIIT cardio. So my opinion is the best cardio for fat loss is the cardio that you will do. That's it. If you enjoy going out and going for a run, go out and do it. If you dread the thought of like getting up and doing HIIT workouts, then don't do them. It's really kind of that simple. If you hate the idea of running and you prefer like smashing yourself in a 15-20 minute workout, do that. Just whatever suits you, whatever it is that you're going to do, that's what's going to be best. Okay, next, what are your best tips for building an Instagram business or platform to share your thoughts and work? Okay, so firstly, I am like an accidental influencer, I would say. I definitely did not set out with any kind of intention of building a platform. However, that being said, as things have progressed along, I have been more concerned with putting out like good content and people seeing my content and writing things that people can relate to and sharing things that people interact with. So to say that I don't care about engagement or followers or anything like that at all, that's naive. Like, I think anyone that has a really big account that is like, I don't care about followers or engagement, I don't know, I would question that like a little bit. Basically, the best tip that I would give is, yes, obviously post content which is true to yourself, that you enjoy, that you would like to engage with. But the thing with Instagram now, especially with the algorithm based on engagement and not necessarily what time of day that you post, you need to post things that other people will want to interact with, that they will want to comment on, that they will want to double tap on and like, and go through and look at your profile. You've got to have like a nice kind of looking photo of whatever it is that you're interested in, and it has to be accompanied by caption that probably does have some thought put into it. And basically I would just try and trial different things, different types of photos with different types of captions, and just see what people engage with the most over like a month, 2-month kind of period. And whatever people are engaging with the most, that you get the most response from, just do more content like that kind of thing. That's like the best tip that I can give. I'm just a normal person. I'm not very strategic about all of this Instagram-y kind of stuff. That's the most strategy that I have. Next question. Do your friends, family, co-workers know that you count macros? I'm somewhat reluctant to share this with my friends or family for fear they will think I have disordered eating tendencies, will judge me in some way. Well, firstly, I would just say just talk to them. Like if you really want to talk to them about it, just explain to them exactly what it is that you're doing. So it's like, okay, so I count macros, I weigh my food. This is because I have a body composition goal. And if I'm do this, this means that I have like the most control possible over this goal. If you have the chance to explain it to them on your terms, then there's no chance for them to judge you or think you have a disordered eating tendency if you sit them down and be like, hey, this is a thing that I'm doing, this is why I'm doing it, and show that it kind of comes from a good place. So I would say that for starters. In terms of me, my family know that I count macros, though they don't like fully understand it. They obviously see that I weigh my food. My co-workers, some of them, none of my co-workers know that I have an Instagram or a YouTube or anything like that, or a blog, so they're all unaware of that. Some of them do, some of them have a kind of understanding that I keep track of my food, some more than others, but they don't really like ask about it a lot or really kind of get it. My friends, again, yep, they know that I track my food, but I don't do it very like overtly around them. Like I go out to brunch, I'm not out at brunch with my friends with my fucking scale weighing shit. Like, no, I'm not doing that. So they're aware that I count things as well, but it's not very overt. Definitely I would say my dad thinks that it is just kind of like an extension of my eating disorder, that it's just another thing that I'm controlling. I guess there's arguments for and against that. That's probably like a different YouTube video. I think at the moment it comes from a good place. So I don't know, I guess that's up for debate. I hope that answers your question. How do you fit brunch dates into your macros, and what has been the hardest part of your recovery? In terms of fitting brunch dates into my macros, I'm actually doing like a full day of eating, filming today, and I'm doing a ridiculous brunch date, so just kind of stay tuned and you'll be able to see that video in another few days or so. Otherwise, I would scroll back and look at my like Santorini videos or my videos from a bit over a year ago when I was in Melbourne. I've shown that kind of stuff plenty of times. In terms of the hardest part of my recovery, that's really hard to say. I would say probably the most difficult bit was not recently, it was probably back in 2015 when I sat my parents down and actually told them that this was something that I was struggling with. And it's a pity that the hardest part was opening up and being honest, because I feel like it should be so much easier for us to do that. If it was so much easier for us to open up and talk to others about the problems that we're having, maybe there wouldn't be as many people with mental health problems and not as many people kind of suffering in silence, thinking that they can't talk to anyone. So it's a pity that that was the hardest bit, but in hindsight that was, and they didn't foresee any kind of problem or issue. They had no idea what was going on. So I think initially when I sat them down and talked them to about it, that was the hardest hurdle that I had to get over. But then once I did, I could really start properly addressing it from there once I'd kind of put it more out in the open. Okay, there's a few questions in this one. Do you ever take tracking breaks, or do you ever get mentally tired of tracking? And if so, what do you do? No, I haven't really taken a break from tracking in years now, ever since I started with Nick. It's probably been like 3 years that I've been probably counting macros, something like that. I counted when I was overseas last year. I was overseas for 9 weeks traveling through Europe. I went through like 10 countries. I counted macros the whole time. Some of you will probably think, what the fuck are you doing, Emma? Enjoy your holiday. But for me, like, I actually don't find it a chore. I actually actively enjoy doing it, which is, I think, why I probably don't get mentally tired of it. I understand that I'm probably like an exceptional case, especially considering I counted macros while I was traveling. But I would say it is quite normal to take breaks from tracking. And if you feel like you need one, if you feel like you're constantly thinking about food and it's really taking up way too much of your headspace, then for sure, like, take a step back for a while. Even you could just take a step back into just counting calories, or you could take some time off entirely and try the kind of intuitive eating thing. The other part of that question is, how do you make a decision to cut, bulk, maintain, and the duration of time to do each? This is kind of a really individual situation. It will depend on if you have any specific like events. Like, a lot of people will want to lose fat leading into a certain like goal, and I think it is really important to have that kind of goal end date of some point where your diet will end and you'll have a little bit of a break for a while. So it'll depend kind of what you've got going on in your life. Obviously, like, if you're really stressed with like studying or work or something like that, then I would suggest that's not a really good time to lose fat. For me, I very much use the approach of having a look at some sort of end date, some sort of finish date. That's been my birthday the past 2 years. And I'm not one to kind of yo-yo, so I won't like cut for 3 months, then bulk for 3 months, then cut, then bulk. I would see myself doing more like a kind of 3 or 4 month on for a cut, and then an 8 or 9 month off for a cut. But this is an extremely kind of individual situation. You'd really want to be working with a coach one-on-one to help you with your situation in terms of how long you should kind of do each phase. Are you saving to move out of your family's home? Is there a structured plan for that, or more like, well, this is working fine, so we'll see what happens? I have a savings goal that I set at the start of the year. I was like, I want to get to X amount of money with my savings. I've actually nearly reached that goal. In terms of moving out, yes, I do want to move out. I want to, but I'm not being super like, I need to get out now about it. Like, I'm browsing something called flatmates.com, which is where you can look around for share houses that have like available rooms. And so I'm on that, like, actively kind of looking, but not putting any pressure on myself to like move out now. I do want to get out, I'm just not being super committed about it. What made you go down the career path you're currently on? Or what other career paths have you tried to go down? Good question. So for those of you that don't know, I graduated from a Bachelor of Medical Science with honours from ANU in 2015. My plan after that was actually to procrastinate entering the workforce and go travelling. So I wanted to go travelling for the majority of 2016. That was kind of my plan, and then I didn't know where I would end up after that. But during my final year, I applied for a graduate position at the Federal Government Department of Health. Having studied a Bachelor of Medical Science and honours, the Department of Health was really the only kind of government department that I was interested in applying to. So I just kind of lazily applied. Well, I won't say lazily, like, I committed to the application. I wanted to see kind of how far I got. I honestly didn't expect to get accepted because I had this plan to travel in 2016. But I got a grad job with the Department of Health, and I started there in 2016. And since I joined the Department of Health, I was like, there are 2 areas in this department that I really, really want to work in, and I want to really work hard to kind of get there. There were 2 specific interests that I had. So I went through my grad year where you kind of get a taste of everywhere in the department, and then last year in 2017, I was somewhere that I didn't really want to be long term, but it was really good for growth and experience, and I was working with some really good people. And then kind of one thing led to another, and at the end of last year, I ended up in one of those places that I really, really wanted to work in, which is called the Office for Sport. We manage sport policy, major international events, sport reform, international relations, support for the minister. So yeah, I started in the Office for Sport at the Department of Health at the end of 2017, and I've been there ever since, and I intend on staying there for probably at least another year because I absolutely love what I'm doing. I see opportunities to grow and change, to expand my capabilities. I'm actually going through a job application process right now to try and get a promotion, to stay in the same area. I haven't pursued any other career paths because I was basically like, oh, I'll apply for the Department of Health. Oh, I got in. Oh, I'd like to work there. Oh, I'm now working there. So yeah, I haven't really pursued anything else because I haven't felt the need to yet. And I would say maybe in another year or two, it will be time to move on for the Office of Sport, but right now I'm absolutely loving it, so that's where I intend on staying. And so that kind of leads nicely, I ordered these questions, by the way, into a nice flowy kind of order. The next question is, do you plan on moving from Canberra? I know you have a job there, but in the future. I have no plans to move from Canberra unless there was like a really, 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 really fucking good job opportunity somewhere else, because I really love my job at the moment and I'm not gonna be like, well, I need a massive change when everything is going quite well so far. And lastly, will you do more personal life stories or videos? I love your fitness stuff, but really enjoy your reviews of swimsuits and everyday activities as well. Oh, thank you, I appreciate that. I don't really know. I just kind of want to produce the kind of content that I would enjoy to watch and that I think is useful, and that do show a balance between like the fitness, the macros side, and then also my normal life. I think that's the kind of content that I've been doing and what I'll continue to do. Maybe, but to be honest, I'm not like a massive like shopper or something like that. I'm not sure how many like clothing reviews I can do because I don't want to spend all my money on that. It'll probably just be like more Gymshark reviews because that's like the only clothing that I buy. But thank you for the feedback, and if that's something that you like to see, maybe I could do more blog posts on that or whatever. But yeah, I'm just trying to do a balance of all of that kind of stuff at the moment, so thanks for your feedback. Anyway, that concludes today's Q&A video. I don't know how long that ended up, but probably quite long. Thank you for sticking with me during this time. If you have any questions or comments, I feel like that was a good like conversation. You guys maybe got to know me a little bit more. Leave any questions or comments down below. If you like this video, if you found it interesting, please give me a thumbs up. And if you want to see more from me, if you want to see how I'm going to go eat some ridiculous waffles now and fit it in with the rest of my day, amongst other things, then please subscribe to my channel. And then I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.